We are back again. This is a short one, but there is something that is interesting currently in the research space or in education space, academic space, as they say. There is a lot of talk around the usage of AI. Lecturers are frustrated. They don't know how to stop the students. The students are getting smarter and smarter. They're getting 100% for their assignments. But in this case, we have Hassan, who has used ethically an AI agent of some sort to do his Delphi study and his research and stuff like that. He's going to tell us about that and how did that work and how does it fit in the research space. Do you want to tell us about this,
yes, sure,
Hassan?
Sure. So thank you, Tulani, Malusi, sorry. This is it here. So everyone, when they speak about the artificial intelligence, it's only about ChatGPT and the LLM things, when actually there are multiple things behind that. And actually what was happening, that the analysis with artificial intelligence, let's say method, machine learning and deep learning and these stuff, were only limited to the data scientists and the people that they are sitting in their caves. And we see it that it's going to either to destroy our lives like the Terminator, or going to have, let's say, we can make our morning coffee when you are staying there and a robot is doing your research and the work for you. But it's not like that. So mainly here, artificial intelligence, there are multiple types. And what we used here in this study, I think we went through most of them. So we have the natural language processing. So when you speak or you provide a text in an interview, so usually what we do is thematic analysis, but thematic analysis is very subjective, right? So every person can reflect his own opinion. And actually, there is what we call it the natural language processing and sentiment analysis, which actually it can detect your sentiment behind the thing that we are saying, whether it's positive, negative, and sometimes go deeper, anger, trust, something like this. And there are and it can automatically, let's say, in automated system, you build a model that can detect the themes that you are speaking about in very objective way, which is and quantifiable one, by the way. So we can say that which are the themes that you mostly spoke about them during that. We mentioned that in that study. And in order to do this, you need to write a code to do it. So I write the code myself in R, and I learned that myself. And I learned that during my master's. And then I carried on outside, like I started studying, reading books and trying to consult and read many things. So I wrote all of those books to do this. This is when I analyzed the open-ended, feedback. And then it came the quantitative phase. So usually what we do in Delphi, we do the consensus analysis, and we use various coefficients to analyze that, such as the Cohen coefficient and the cross-colorless and many other things, like to analyze the agreement between the experts. But what we did here behind that, we took those quantitative results, and we try actually to do what we call it clustering analysis. And this is here the machine learning. So machine learning, there is supervised and supervised, to explain to the non-clinician. Supervised, which can, you give it a variable, it can predict what's going to happen. So in other studies, we gave them that this is the data clinician, let's say the age, the chief complaint of the patient, the nationality, and some other variables, the past medical history. And if it can predict since the dispatch, if the patient is going to be transported or not, is going to decide that or not. And we published that one as well. So this is kind of supervised. You have a variable defined already. And the unsupervised one, it's you have a data that you want to explore it. So it's going to assemble, let's say, everything according to the similarity. Like, think about it like it's 3D dimension, and it's going to consider the similarity between them. And how is that is going to convert those numbers to to another matrix. Let's not go deeper into the technical stuff, and then try to assemble them. This is what we call clustering analysis. So in our paper, after actually we did the consensus analysis, we showed that there are 80% agreement on this theme, 50% on the other one, and 30% no, we want actually beyond that. What's the difference? What's the pattern? And you know what we found? That the expert that they are from North Africa and Europe, they had the same opinion. And the expert that they are from Canada and Asia here, like Qatar, they have the same opinion. And the reason, because actually they are wanting to improve their system of improvement. So that's why they share the same background. And some of the experts, like from other country in Asia, not all of Asia, they have specific opinion. And this is because actually they share the same weakness, and let's say the same vulnerability, the same plan, and the same objectives. So artificial intelligence here, or analysis with the different type, supervised, unsupervised, NLP, and there are multiple type, by the way, types. I mean, this is not the only one. We showed that it can give actually information beyond the regular one. So we published the thematic analysis from the interview, and then after that we published the analysis of the same data using artificial intelligence, NLP, and we showed actually what's the difference. And I'm in the process of preparing what we call a commentary article, an expert opinion, to tell to everyone as a clinician how, I mean, the artificial intelligence analysis method are beneficial for us, and what's the difference from the regular tools. We published recently a paper like showing what kind of metrics we should use it out of that study, but we want also to to give self-critic, let's say, and how much they are very efficient. I mean, these artificial intelligence tools. And we want, actually, what I want, I'm a clinician, and I want every other clinician, guys, to think that it's not only a robot or machine or specific for data scientists. No, we can do that. I learned that from scratch, and I practiced it, and I did a lot of errors. And I remember, honestly, during this is my leave, 40 days leave, I spent them in my room, guys. I never left outside the door. I swear to God, I never left outside, even with my laptop. I stay until 4 a.m. I wake up 8 a.m. morning. I carry on what I'm doing. I only go for lunch and stuff like this, prayer and others. So I hope very quickly I try to give you an idea. Like my mother listens to that. That's what you want me to do. I hope really it's clear. It helped.
Now, it is clear. It is clear, and it is complex at the same time.
Yes,
like, look, if you talk about designing a code, I'm like, how do I even start? Like, how do I even start designing a code? Maybe Elias can try that, not me.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask, because obviously this is very interesting. I mean, obviously you must have a lot of background in terms of AI and sort of like machine learning in order for you to understand that you have to train the AI to actually sort of be neutral, because most of the times it hallucinates, like it just gives out random stuff. So, and I guess it's also very sort of like neutral, because as an individual, my sort of opinion on something or how I evaluate something is I am going to be biased in one way or another because of the things I know and because of the things that I've done and, my set of beliefs as well. So I guess the AI doesn't have that, which makes it very neutral. And I guess, but just in terms of the hallucination, how long did you have to train it so that it does not make up anything? And how did you sort of ensure that this is the baseline and it doesn't go? And how would you measure that? Because that's one of the things, I guess, that's everyone should ask for AI.
Question, yes. I like it a lot. And it's not about how long, it's about how much data do you need, the quantity itself.
True.
So to be able, and the type that you need. So yes, here. So I used actually a very big data set. It depends. Let's be honest. That's the right answer. It depends. So when you are doing thematic analysis, and you don't need actually that big amount of data, but in order to have a better outcome of the artificial intelligence algorithm, the most you have, the better. So, and when we speak about quantities, let's say if 1,000 is much better than 100, and it gives more accuracy. And there are actually a metric to measure that. So you write your code, and you ask how I was able to do that. So that's one of the beneficial of studying one of my masters in University of Swat. So one of them is in statistics and data analysis. So there, when I learned the basics, let's say, and how to do the codes and everything, and every single information about artificial intelligence. But I didn't stop there, actually. I studied outside. I looked for online trainings and many other stuff to be able to do it. And I tried myself. And I remember my first big achievement was how to calculate 1 + 1 + 1 = 2 with coding. So that was something like, at that time, I remember it was something very important. But yes, it was very important. It was the step to help me to move forward. But so if we go back to the question here and about how you measure, so there are metrics. What we are speaking is accuracy, right? Because we can have, I remember that we had recently during the World Cup, someone developed an algorithm that predicted that Saudi Arabia is going to win the World Cup at that time. And he said it's easy to develop a code, but it's about the accuracy and the source of data that you have. That's one of the things. So it has to be actually the most appropriate data and very well cleaned. So it's the hardest part actually. It's not developing the code. It's about cleaning the data. That's what I spent like 40 days. And before that, many months, like trying to clean the data and have it ready. Many months. So that was nothing actually during the 40 days. And then there is another risk, which is, we call it overfitting, which is when you try to choose a specific data and you train it to have, let me give it an easier picture. You remember when you are training in the gym and you were very muscled and training ready for everything, and when it comes the day of competition, you fail. It's like that. That's what we call it overfitting. Or for me, I take it from another example. When someone during our studies, I'm sure each one of you had that colleague who prepare a lot, study a lot, and then he performs badly during the exams. So that's what we call. So this is how I explain the overfitting, the way of the data scientist and everything that you. This is exactly the overfitting. So imagine if it's very biased data, you have very selected, and you tell them this is 100% accuracy or 90%, and I had things when it start with 99.9 or 100%. So I said, how they are very sure this way. Is there any kind of data that can give something like this? But there is a risk of overfitting in that. This is what we call. So it's not only about developing the code, guys. Like I said, it's about cleaning the data, choosing the appropriate data, and it has to be balanced. It has to be very well explored also when you choose the variables. So it's not like I decided to choose these variables, but there are some statistical method and way to do that. Besides, as I said, that those were not my only driver. Also, there is the clinician insights and sense. And in few articles, like I said, this is what the statistics shows. But for a clinical reason, I believe these are actually the very important drivers, and we are going to follow them. And we use here everyone hear about the confounder, right? And bias, the risk of bias and confounding factors, and multicollinearity, something like this. So it's like someone was trying to say that when someone did the study, said that the coffee increases the risk of ACS, acute coronary syndrome. When actually it's not that, because everyone, when he smokes, he drink a coffee. Smoking increase in the odds of for ACS. It's not the coffee. So the coffee is a confounding factor. So you see, it's easy to conclude that based on the p-value, what's everyone. P-value is 0.00, very significant. The coffee it's a risk factor here. The esperance here, okay. So the coffee is very.
South Africans are not gonna like that.
I know that. So they will say the p-value is very significant here, but it's not about that. So this is briefly. I mean, I tried to go through it and make it, understandable, guys.
Yeah. Do you have another question, Tulan?
No, I was just gonna say, I guess is your code open source? Can other people adapt it?
So the code is with me. I generated that code, and in some of the papers, yes, I put it there as an appendix. So people, if they will check the paper, they will find the code. So my aim here is to make other people benefit out of it. And the thing is not about the code. As I said, you need to be a good user of. So I use R programming. I use also Python. Everybody knows Python, but I'm more into R. And people, they can develop their own codes.
Yeah,
but I keep it as but the code is with me, yes, here, and I included it as an appendix in some papers. Yeah, it depends.
So for me, the two questions that I had, when you start talking about codes, there's things that I could do and understand and be able to achieve. But some of the stuff that you mentioned becomes complicated and difficult to understand. And for someone who's doing research, or let's say regular person who watches the podcast, how can you encourage them as EMS professionals to get more comfortable or understanding how to use data science tools, especially with the coding? Because it's easy for me to talk about thematic analysis, the use of other softwares like your Cactus or your, what's the one that I used? NVivo or Atlas TI. And Atlas TI, I'm more comfortable with Atlas TI. But someone else listen to this jargon that we're using, but like, I don't want to even continue. But how can we encourage EMS professionals, especially paramedics, even educators that are listening to this, to become more comfortable using and understanding data science and tools that are available for them, especially with research?
Sure. Thank you, Tolani, for this. To be honest, that was not easy. It took many years of work and studying and failing, and succeeding. It's like that. So that started actually since many years ago. So I use many softwares. I use SPSS, I use Stata, I use beside the Excel, and I use the Power BI, I use Python, I use R. So it took actually many years to learn all of this. And so
it gives me a headache.
No, I use Minitab. I use few other software. So I think I tried multiple software. So and there are also few others that I don't remember that I'm not using anymore. So it takes many years of work and studying. So for me, actually, I said that I would be thankful for those who educate me and during my masters. They gave me the basic. But also, when I went into my master's, I already know a lot about the data science and statistics. And this is started for me since maybe the high school level, when I'm very passionate about statistics and other stuff. So I always keep reading and I never stop. And like I said here, it has to have the will to do that. So I had the will at that time that I wanted to do everything myself. And I said, it's just another human being who's doing those stuff. Why it has to, and why you have to be, clinician to do only clinical stuff. So no, but we can do also those stuff. And yet, I'm an example here. This is why I want to encourage the other. That was not easy. Yes, it takes a lot of hard work and training and multiple trainings actually. And you have to fail multiple times.
So I'm an example here, and he actually means it. I'm an example right here.
I am a clinician, guys. I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I'm just a clinician. Like everyone else, I'm not a data scientist, and yet I'm knowledgeable about those stuff. Because you need to train a lot and to work and to fail multiple times to be able to succeed. And I remind you again, like it was a dream for me, like to calculate 1 + 1 = 2. Imagine that. When I was writing that code, or everyone, maybe the data science knows this, when you write the word hello world on Python. Like for me, when I did it, I said, wow, I did this. And then always you need to think about the next step. And I never stick to what they teach us during the class, even during the training. I always say, what if I do this and that?
You know, Hassan, and this is me coming out.
Hey, coming out, brother.
Wow.
This is not easy. It's coming. But I need to say this, and what you said it's quite important. And I know I say it a lot. When I listen to the podcast, I think I say this is quite important. But what you've shared makes me feel better in terms of the stuff that I've done, because of these things that I've used for the first time. And I battled, when I used SPSS last year, when I was doing my quantitative results, I made so many mistakes, and it takes time to upload the stuff, recode the way you want the data to be like, and to learn about all the stuff that related to SPSS. I battled a lot. And it frustrated me. It made me angry. I felt like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. And I wish I knew that you were into this.
And you pass each other at work.
Actually, what he did is so I had gone through all of those steps as well. But the only I never let go. That's not the time to let go. Every time I say this is the time to build. And as I said to Lani, a message for everyone else, that a failure is not a failure. It's another step to success.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and actually, so I had one time. So I'm mentoring a lot of paramedics, CCPs, and APs in their masters and PhD projects. Yeah. So I had someone when he said he did an improvement that it shows bad results, and actually I told them so encourage them. We can publish that an example what are the wrong things that you did them, and you advise everyone else what they can avoid in the future.
That's research right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So this is actually when I write. So everyone missed the limitation section in their articles. They just write anything. But no, I pay a lot of attention into it. I try to write always there what I failed in doing. And I wish if at the time goes back, what I would do. And this is what I'm telling to the other researchers. This is what you need to do to avoid the mistakes that I have done.
That is very interesting. Hassan, I want to run through the themes that you had in your study, especially for the tabletop. If you can just run us through sort of like, what is what, and how does it sort of like apply to practice?
Yes. So the themes that you are speaking about them are about one of the small part of the study, which is the checklist. So we included, I think, more than 8 or themes, between 8 to 11. I don't recall them all right now, but they include a lot of, like I said, the ethical framework, because that's very important. You need to prepare your staff. There is the challenge of the duty to care of you, or you care for yourself. And this is happening in CBRN. Should I just care them? And all of us as pre-hospital care providers, when we see a patient, let's say it's an RTA or somewhere outside or in a risky area, let's think about it. Maybe let's think about Africa for us in Tunisia and South Africa, things like this. Do I have to escape, run, and protect myself, or treat that patient? We have always that challenge. But when you take a decision, people, they need to be protected. They should be, how we say this, an ethical framework that protects them or encourage them. And also, so we paid into that, a lot of attention into it. And there is also the medical capability, which speaks about the capacity and capabilities as well. And when we speak about capabilities, it's about training. So that's also what we're about to mention. So it's not just the training to tick the box, because that's most of the politicians and people, they like to do just tick the box. We have done that. No, that's not. No, and how to measure their efficiency. And this also includes a lot of parts, such as the other capability, the equipment, and multiple other things. Actually, they are mentioned there in the paper that we can speak about them. We spoke about the treatment themselves. I mean, what kind of antibiotics or treatment that they can use them, and available, and the dose. And I'll be honest here, the dose about the medicines are everything from emergency medicine, pre-hospital care point of view. So for us, how we can use them, and what kind of medicine that we need to have them available, or how we can protect ourselves. And the other part as well is about the what kind of type of protection that you have to have them against the CBRN incidents. So if you go, when you are dealing with such hazards, biological hazards, you cannot treat them regularly, right? And it's very hard sometimes also to do the IV line in normal circumstances. Imagine if you are wearing that suit, and do you have to do an IV line or not? And the decision, something like that. So it's very more complicated than we can speak about it, but we try to go through it and advise. I mean, and that's why actually the appendix of that paper is much longer than the paper itself. It's like a small booklet. It's like this, to be honest.
When you say that, I remember when COVID came around, when I went into my first patient with my suit on, I had my stethoscope in my pants, and then I had the suit over, and then the patient was short of breath. So when I went into the house, I realized actually I have to listen to the lungs. So I was like, do this now, because then if I open the suit up, I'm going to contaminate myself. But then I also need to listen to the lungs. So I guess these are the technical details that you don't always think about, but then they come into play and are very important. So
the training package that we designed and we came out of this, it covers this. One of the scenario, actually, it covered this. And I have a colleague from Saudi Arabia that in paramedicine, that he actually assisted him to use this. So I provided him with the scenario. We used them in one of the trainings in simulation. And I have like a kind of dream is try to this scenario to do them, let's say, first in the region here in the Middle East and North Africa region. And then after we go wider, because the situation differs, like I said, from a place to another. And it's just a sample, I'd say, or just a first nucleus. It's not perfect. We have to try it multiple times to figure out the challenges and the failure, let's say, and try to improve them until you have the very perfect one.
That is true.
So Hassan, I think if you still have some time, I just want to ask you that when you look at the themes that the 9 or 10, 11 themes that you came up at, that came from the paper, is that which themes, how can I ask it, which themes surprised you the most in terms of how strongly the experts agreed and disagreed?
Training, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
Training, and this is because, as I said, so we have different person in the world. Everyone is trying to do his kind of train, a type of train, and everyone thinks that this is the best kind of type of training. And I'm sure themselves, they know that it needs to be improved. But training is very important. And simply because if you don't have the knowledge how to face something you are going to face, you won't be able to face it successfully. Take the example of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know actually how to protect yourself, how to approach a patient, you won't be able to handle yourself. And you have the situation here, Elias, which is actually surprising. Like, it's not like usually you use stethoscope, you listen, you understand it's wheezing or not or something. But this is a different situation here, and the decision is going to be different as well. And you have the situation let's say between a medicine A and medicine B, and a patient that might have a side effect out of this. And what decision you need to? So at some point you need to take decision. And now what I'm saying, training, it always prevents that. So people during the training, I see this practice, especially when I came from in Africa, let's say in Tunisia, because this is what we do. When we do training, people, they try to fake. Just let's show the boss that we are succeeding doing this very well. So let's show the political leader that we are doing this very well. In simulation, you know what? Pack them very fast and let's go to tell them that you have outstanding time. And target here again, because the target, and I don't like the targets for these reasons, because it's going to pressurize the people. But those simulation, during the simulation exercise and practical exercise, tabletop exercise, that's the point when everyone is going to practice to fail and to know if he's able to succeed and what he needs to do when he's in real life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just faking the targets.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you had to prioritize just two of these areas of improvement relating to the themes,
Training.
which but you mentioned training. What else would you also prioritize other than training?
Yeah.
I'm not asking you.
Read the paper.
No, what he's mentioning is very important. And so ethical framework and training. And that's why what I said when I was invited to speak about CBRN strategies with my colleagues from Turkey. So as I said, I participated in writing a book. I participated with chapter. Most of this chapter is about this training and ethical framework. And actually what I included quality improvement in time of disaster. Nobody spoke about this. And this is what I mean about it. How to improve them, how to make them better. We know that in every country, especially in Africa, this is a big challenge. It's very easy to put just a policy. Everyone has to follow this. Every person has to follow that. But is it really practical? And when you push people to follow something that's not practical, they will find their way around it. They will fake it. And who will be losing here from clinician? We know it's ourselves as a clinician and the patient.
The patient is most important. Yeah.
We don't want that. So we are doing this job because we want, honestly, to help people to save our patients. And it's not trying to, and instead of doing that, we'll be just focusing on trying to how to go around it. So I don't go to the jail, or I won't be questioned. And actually that the policymakers need to understand this. So maybe in one of the papers, yes, I was addressing that to the policy makers in the conclusion, that this is the thinking that they need to change. I mean, the decision maker, let's be honest, in the Ministry of Health in our countries, they need really to change that. And it takes time. It's not going to change in one night, but at least we need to start somewhere.
Hey, you know what, Hassan, I think I put you in the corner there, and I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
All of these themes, they actually have a role. It's like a mind map that there's something at the center of it. Preparedness assessment, which is what you've written on your paper, is that all of these things play an important role. If you think about infrastructure, lack of infrastructure, public health, psychological support, research and development, all of these are stuff that need to be there. But it's difficult to say training. But it's like, when you think about the body, there's a Bible scripture. I forgot what Bible scripture it is. It says that every piece of the body is important, needs in order for us to function. When you look at the stuff of those teams that you've listed, is that they form a part and puzzle of the.
I like that. I should invite you to write with me one of the papers because I'm going to use this. You should do that in one of your articles because I know that you are finishing your PhD, right?
Yeah.
No, this is a very good example, Tulani. That's exactly what you are saying. It's 100% correct.
I could see the light bulb moment in your head. Just like, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I hear you know because you know me very well. That's why.
Right.
So I wanted to say, did you want to say something, Tulani?
No, I was thinking that maybe we can wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, just talking about writing with Tulani in terms of collaborations, right? You are a very specialized person in what you do. It focuses, I would understand, in disaster medicine and stuff like that. Actually, we had the last guest that we had, Dr. Ravin Naidu. He is the director of emergency medical care and disaster medicine in South Africa. I'm going to send this to him, the whole episode to him on a link on email. And then if he wants to watch it, he'll watch it. But in terms of collaborations, I want you to tell me what kind of people do you like to attract to work with you. I'm aware now that you're a quantitative researcher and that's what you like.
No, so let's be honest.
Correct.
I'm a bit of everything. So I'm not only quantitative, to be honest.
Yeah.
And disaster medicine is one of the area of passion that I have. So if you check my Google Scholar profile, you will see that I'm interested in multiple fields. But quality improvement and disaster medicine are my passion. Honestly, a very big passion to me. Okay. So I'm actually very keen to collaborate with colleagues, and if you check also my Google Scholar, you will see that I collaborated with many colleagues as long as I can feel that we are doing something that's going to change, and it's not just to tick the box and to try to show off, which I don't like. We want really to do things that are impactful. That's what I'm, honestly, that's the only driver for me for any collaboration. Yes, it will be an honor and pleasure to me.
Dr. Hassan Farhat, thank you very much for your time. We highly appreciate you. Keep on doing the great work. We really thank you for your time and everything that you have said and shared with us. I understand this is very close to your heart and we can feel it. We are learning from you and we are learning even to use time in our planning for research and understanding the field that you're in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time.
Just to mention something, Melissa, quickly, is that a lot of these discussions that we had, especially in the second session, you need to read that paper to understand what we're talking about, because it will be something that you won't understand if you don't read the paper. You have to read the paper, and yeah.
And the second paper that came out of that, which is its title, I can share it with you in the chat, which is evaluating the performance of the agreement matrix, which we use them during this study.
Yeah. Other people may not know exactly what are metrics. These terms that we use, like evaluation
randomly.
So when they read the paper, the second one is open access, actually. So I was explaining that to our colleagues, the clinician. Okay. So they will know exactly, really, it's a very easy way how to...
Open access. Open access means anyone can find it.
Yes, the second one is open access. True.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Hassan.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guy, and have a nice day.